As the great poet, lyricist, and philosopher Chip Skylark once said, "When I'm feeling lonely, as sad as can be, all by myself on an uncharted island in the endless sea, what makes me happy fills me up with glee, those bones in my jaw that don't have a flaw, my shiny teeth and me. My shiny teeth that twinkle, just like the stars in space, my shiny teeth that sparkle, adding beauty to my face, my shiny teeth that glisten, just like a Christmas tree, you'll walk a mile just to see me smile. Woo, my shiny teeth and me. Shiny teeth, shiny teeth." Simply put, teeth are usually supposed to stay in the mouth. I say usually because sometimes the wisdom teeth gotta go, but the same does not go for teeth extraction via Sheamus's foot. Unfortunately, as wrestling is indeed not make-believe, sometimes accidents do happen and wrestlers come out looking like they won a few rounds with Woody and a rubber ball. Let's say a word of gratitude to Dr. Britt Baker DMD, who looks to offset the teeth lost to pro wrestling one cavity at a time. Yuka Sakazaki not forced to participate. I'm Tempest hailing from partsFUNknown, and these are 15 times wrestlers lost teeth mid-match. Speaking of Britt Baker, do you think AEW could have done more with her women's title reign and the women's division in general? Well, if so, make sure you go and check out our list of the 10 biggest missed opportunities in AEW so far. It'll be in the description and floating around the screen at the end of the video. Number 15, Cesaro at No Mercy 2017. Well, he didn't quite lose the teeth, did he? They're right in there, hiding, like they've been the victims of the worst game of whack-a-mole ever. Cesaro goes face first into the post at No Mercy 2017, and my lord Slifer, does that look just sickening. If you're a newer fan and ever wondered why Cesaro wore a mouthguard, this is the origin story. Number 14, Jeff Hardy at Payback 2017. Dental injuries seemed to follow the bar around for a while, and unfortunately for innocent bystander Jeff Hardy, he got hit with a stray bullet at Payback 2017. In the Hardys' first pay-per-view match since the return at WrestleMania 33, Jeff is a stationary target on his hands and knees, and Sheamus kicks him right in the mush, knocking Jeff's tooth clean out. And it's moments like this that make me wonder if anyone ever let Sheamus in on the fact that this wrestling thing is a work. The extremely broken Hardys version 1 were able to pull off the W on this night, but the celebration wouldn't last, with the Bar turning heel and beating Damascus and Itchweed for the rest of the spring, with no justice for Jeff's lost tooth unless you count that feud he had with Sheamus in 2020, with the framing for DUI and the bar fight and the urine throwing, and isn't wrestling weird. Number 13, Yuka Sakazaki on AEW Dynamite, February 5th, 2020. If you have to lose a tooth in wrestling, there may not be a better person to knock it out than Britt Baker. Rip out a tooth, put it back in. Double payday. Everybody wins. Well, not Yuka, of course. And yes, this one technically takes place after the match rather than mid-match, but if you're the sort of folk that get wound up by that sort of thing, sod it. Get your rocks off, my dude. Yuka's forced to eat the bottom rope, only for Britt to give her a stomp, with Yuka spitting up blood and a tooth. Had this angle taken place in NXT 2.0, I think there's a real chance that Britt would legitimately have been the one to fix the tooth, and I won't lie, there is a part of me that is at least a smidge curious. Number 12, Hiroshi Tanahashi at G1 Climax Special 2011. I don't rule the universe, but if I did, I would make it a federal crime to damage the face of Hiroshi Tanahashi. And in that make-believe scenario, the man being taken away in handcuffs is the king of strong style himself, living up to that name, Shinsuke Nakamura. This was the second time the two rivals had wrestled in 2011 during Tana's record-setting reign as IWGP champion. At the G1 Climax Special in Kobe World Hall, early in this main event, Nakamura hits Tana with a knee, and the Ace's perfect smile was desecrated as we all bow our heads and shed a single tear. Tanahashi would ultimately win the match with a high-fly flow to the back, and as he made it backstage, my fourth favorite color, third favorite piece of clothing, and second favorite referee, Red Shoes Uno, presented him with his tooth. You know, as co-workers do in all industries. Number 11, Alex Shelley at Road to Destruction 2012 and Field of Honor 2015. Back to Japan we go. One half of the widely acclaimed team, the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley would become half of another iconic team, the Time Splitters, as he made his way to New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2012. Unfortunately, while he may have entered the new promotion with hope, he left without several of his teeth, courtesy of everyone's favorite forever Roppongi hooligan, Rocky Romero. Shelley said he could hear his teeth pinging off the guardrail at ringside as a result of a short clothesline from Rocky. His four front chompers were all shattered, and you would think that would be the worst of it, but no. Shelley had the front two shattered again when Mark Briscoe kneed him so hard in the mouth that it broke his mouth guard and the two front teeth at Field of Honor 2015. At this point, if Shelley started wearing a helmet, I wouldn't hold it against him. Number 10, Cassius Ohno at NXT Live 2013. NXT is no stranger to pearly whites suddenly vanishing. Former NXT champion Adrian Neville lost all his front teeth in a backstage segment with Brodus Clay that WWE put to air despite being taped, but that is a segment and not a match. While the man that Gravity forgot lost his chiclets backstage, Cassius Ohno lost his in the ring standing opposite Xavier Woods. This semi-medium newish old days of NXT. The match took place in February 2013, and they managed to snag this awesome picture of Cassius Ohno doing his best Joaquin Phoenix Joker, while Xavier looks like Vince McMahon told him that he will never be part of the party again, because Vince is the party pooper. Also see Connor and his excited face. Fun fact, CM Punk tweeted after this match that it had been 10 years since Ohno beat him in an unsanctioned overtime of a 90-minute draw, and Xavier Woods had finally collected the bounty on Ohno's head. And they say WWE doesn't do long-term storytelling. Number 9, The Miz on SmackDown, February 4th, 2016. A spinning back fist to the cake hole from AJ Styles was all it took to break 2 of The Miz's teeth in 2016. Miz was distraught afterwards, saying he had a meeting with an Academy Award-winning director the next day that he had to go to with broken teeth. I am dying to know which Oscar winner was the recipient of The Miz's Hollywood schmoozing that night. Judging by his filmography, it had to be either James Nunn or Tim Divar, acclaimed directors of The Marine 5 and 6, and Scooby-Doo and WWE Curse of the Speed Demon, respectively. They've both got Oscars, I know it, I don't have to check. Or we could consider the possibility that The Miz didn't get anything out of his meeting because of his broken teeth, forever holding a grudge against AJ Styles and his 2016 haircut. Number 8, Mark Briscoe at Pro Wrestling Unplugged 2006. If you are even the slightest bit familiar with Mark and Jay Briscoe, you know what kind of tag team they are, but if you listen to them speak, you really get the full picture of who these guys are. And honestly, if anyone's presentation is going to be helped by missing some teeth, Mark Briscoe isn't a bad shout. But where did Mark lose his teeth in the first place? None other than the ECW Arena in Philadelphia while working a show for Pro Wrestling Unplugged in 2006. They would tell the story years later on the Jericho Cruise that while they were administering a beatdown to the Crash crew of Kwame and Gemini, Jay wound back to swing a chair and knocked Mark's front teeth out on the backswing. It'd really be your own brothers, man, damn. Number 7, Natalya in 2016 and 2020. Bloomin' heck, Natalya's had a rough go of things at times during her career, including but not limited to farting so bad it distracted a referee mid-match and getting her front teeth knocked out Mr. Wilson style. The first such incident occurred at a Las Vegas house show in 2016 where Natty had her teeth knocked out and had to go to the hospital for an emergency tooth fairy call. She snapped this shot with Renee Paquette, but I really think Natty would slot in better in between Brent Burns and Drew Doughty. The tooth fairy did their thing and Natty was as good as new until October 2020 when in a battle royal on Raw, Natalya had a new tooth knocked out by everyone's favorite sympathetic villain, Lacey Evans. Still don't get the logic behind that. Natty showed off her new Canadian badge of honor afterward and made sure to let everyone know that she eliminated Lacey in the end. Good job, Natty. It's the little victories. Number 6, Timothy Thatcher on NXT, May 27th, 2020. You want to talk about more guys who were improved with a few less teeth? Timothy Thatcher is a wrestler's wrestler and someone who, if he snarled at you and showed off a missing tooth, yeah, I'd probably run so fast I would leave behind a dust outline of myself as my frightened whimpers got further and further away. Thatcher got tired of playing Riddle's rebound partner after Pete Dunne got stuck at home during a pandemic and Riddle and Pete Dunne just couldn't make a long-distance relationship work, and they duked it out in the first ever Fight Pit match. A big kick to the kisser was all it took to knock Timothy's tooth out. He was dubbed Toothless Timmy because of this, which is absurd because he's hardly toothless. Toothless is a lovable dragon. Number 5, Charlotte Flair in Germany, 2018. How often do you get to sit ringside at a WWE event? Sparingly perhaps, rarely even. What if you live across the pond? Well, even less often then, surely. And how often does one of your favorite wrestlers come over and take a selfie with you after the match? That seems like a really cool experience! Now picture that wrestler walking up and saying, "Sorry, I lost my teeth," because that's exactly what happened with Charlotte Flair after a match at a live event in Germany. WWE fan Hug Like Kim posted a video to Instagram of Charlotte giving her a hug after a match and jokingly saying, "I can't take a pic, I lost my teeth." Sorry about your selfie, Hug Like Kim. Maybe next time. Number 4, Chris Jericho at No Mercy 2008. A tooth for an eye doesn't exactly seem like a fair trade. You've got like a bunch of teeth and only 2 eyes, or in my case 3, because I can see that this is the best ladder match of Shawn Michaels' career. It is so good, made even better by Chris Jericho's unfortunate loss of tooth. This match isn't the highlight reel that many other ladder matches are, but Michaels and Jericho's 2008 rivalry was as much about revenge and disfigurement as it was about excitement and big bumps, so Michaels teeter-tottering a ladder into Jericho's face and knocking a tooth out does as much for the match as the part where they both fall down go wee. It's a great match, and after Shawn Michaels dealt with a summer of eye trauma because of Jericho, it is very satisfying to see the villain get his. Number 3, Scott Hall in WCW 1997. From an unfortunate moment that visually made its match better to a complete and utter meltdown, the late great Scott Hall was admittedly a bit of a disturber and would love to target the Nasty Boys, two more of the most pleasant souls to ever grace a wrestling ring in their own right. During the Nasty Boys days in WCW in 1997, Jerry Sags decided concussion via Scott Hall chair shot was not his preferred way to spend his work nights after a stiff shot. Sags was talked down, but when Scott hit a chair shot at a live event months later, Sags could only see red and began to shoot on the bad guy, knocking out Scott's tooth in the process and leading to the Nasty Boys being gone from WCW soon after. Number 2, Colt Cabana on AEW Dynamite, November 24th, 2021. Poor Colt Cabana. I wish people didn't actually have to be hurt for these awesome moments to happen, because Bryan Danielson holding Colt Cabana's teeth in his hand after kicking them out of his mouth ahead of his match with Hangman Page was a pretty awesome moment. Again, Colt is such a swell fellow, and I feel bad enjoying this bit. Bryan looks like a badass, but I don't want Colt to be in pain for it to happen. Sigh. Then I remember that every show features wrestlers going through pain for our enjoyment, and I am once again grateful for you all. But especially, number 1, Mick Foley at King of the Ring 1998. For most people, if they got their own tooth stuck in their nose, it would probably be the most interesting thing to happen to them that day. I'm just gonna let that statement marinate just a little bit longer. And a bit more, because Mick effin' Foley had a damn tooth in his nose, and it's like the 5th most memorable part of this whole ordeal. If you're a fan and not familiar with the Mankind Undertaker Hell in a Cell match, it's only one of the most famous matches of all time, Patrick Star. You having fun living under that rock? Or in the case that you're a new fan, come welcome. The big zombie man threw the nicest man ever off of a big box and it sucked. But in maybe the worst moment of the match, Mick is chokeslammed through the roof with a chair coming down with him and landing on his face. Not only did that knock Foley out, it knocked his tooth out of its rightful place, through Foley's lip and into his nose. Again, a moment to thank all of the teeth that have been lost for our collective entertainment and those who continue to sacrifice them. And that's our list. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a like and subscribe to partsFUNknown for more fun wrestling content just like it, including the list of the 10 biggest missed opportunities in AEW so far. I didn't forget about it. I pitched it at the start, and now you can click on it right here.